Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Black Clover chapter review. Again, this week the chapter came out early, so instead of my chapter review coming out on Friday, it comes out today on Thursday. So this is Black Clover chapter 221. And this was a chapter for the books, and honestly, I'm really liking the chapters lately. You know, we haven't had a actual, legit fight in a while now. Like, there was the devil fight, and then it's kind of not really been any fight. The closest thing we've had to a fight was the four anti-monarchist nobles against the king. But anyways, this will of course feature manga spoilers, and I will leave a link down below to go read the new chapter on Viz. It should be out officially on Viz tomorrow. But anyways, guys, leave a like and comment and subscribe if you enjoy this video. So I'm going to kind of review the chapter. Basically, Charlotte is really embarrassed after running away from Yami in the last chapter, and she kind of comes to her senses. She's like, I'm going to tell my entire squad that I love Yami. So she's super nervous about this because she's built up a squad mainly of women, where they do have boys with their lackeys, but the women are the fighters in her Blue Rose Knights, and she's really nervous to tell. And then when she does, at first they're kind of shocked, and she was regretting telling them, but then they all cheer for her. They're all happy for her. And what's funny is even some of them say, yeah, I've actually had a boyfriend for a while. I was too afraid to tell you. So it just goes to show that the Blue Rose Knights are not completely these feminazis or these super feminists where they actually legit hate men, because they actually do, have boyfriends. And so yeah, it's pretty interesting to see more development on the Blue Rose Knights, and the fact they were so supportive of their captain for loving a man, even though they were supposed to be a group against men. But basically, what happens is Yami and Asta show up when Charlotte has just been telling her squad, and her squad is really cheering her on to go tell Yami about what she thinks about him, and they push her towards him. And when she's about to tell him, Yami just steps in. He's like, no, Charlotte, I've always known what you felt about me. You've never liked me. So basically, Yami, even with his key, I don't know how he's messing this up, how he's not realizing that Charlotte is in love with him. And what's funny is even Asta sees through this. Like, Asta's like, no, Yami, she likes you, or she trusts you. And it's like Asta saying, I had that same bonds with people on my squad, basically kind of referring to that Noelle he kind of has like a good bond with her, and he can sense a similar feeling between him and Noelle and Charlotte and Yami. So that's just even more evidence, guys, that Asta is going to end up with Noelle at the end of the series, and their kid is going to be insane, and maybe we'll get a Boruto type Black Clover where it's Asta and Noelle's kid. But anyways, so the chapter kind of goes on, and they eventually go on a date, Charlotte and Yami. And on this date, this dinner date, Yami asks Charlotte about the forbidden curse that was placed on her. And so basically, Charlotte says, it was a curse magic user who held a grudge against my family, and the curse was different. It was a curse of magic that the country wasn't able to remove it. It was forbidden magic, and it interferes with the nature of the world, with the nature of life. And she says her curse was supposed to activate when she turned 18. It forcefully changed the form of her soul and the nature of her magic. So she had Blue Rose instead. And then she said the curse is most likely a type of forbidden magic that gets power from the next world. Yami says he kind of thought so, but didn't really know anything besides that. And then this is really interesting about what Charlotte says. But if we're talking about forbidden magic curses, I know of one far stronger than mine. I believe it's affected one of your members. And Yami is super confused. Then it's a scene in the capital of them rebuilding, and it's Dorothy using her dream magic to rebuild. And when Noelle is showing up from behind her, she's like, well, what have we here? The Silva family's youngest child. Did Noelle tell you to come here? And Noelle says, yes, I'm here to learn about how my mother and the demon are related. So it is very seemingly that this curse on the Black Bull member is on Noelle. It makes sense, because it's probably has something to do with her being able to control her magic. It might have been a conjoined curse, where it was on Aesir, and that caused her to die during pregnancy, and then this caused Noelle to make it so she's extremely hard to control her mana. Or maybe the curse just made her so powerful that it would kill her mother And then if you just have so much magic at that point, and you're never being pushed towards to train it, then she just naturally wouldn't be that good. But anyways, I'm really looking forward to the next chapter. This is because we get to see Dorothy. She's probably going to put some of her wisdom on Noelle. Dorothy is from the Witch's Forest. We've all wanted to see more of her. So basically you have Noelle. She's going to be talking to Dorothy, and I'm sure we're going to get some information. Maybe we'll get more of Charlotte talking to Yami. But anyways, I think this is a really, really good chapter. And again, everybody says, oh, Black Clover is all about the fights. We haven't had a fight in Black Clover in a long-ass time. You know, there was no fight between Asta, or the Black Bulls, and the Magic Parliament. The only thing that there really was basically the Enforces. They were about to kill Marie, and then Asta stopped them. But I don't think stopping their attack and saving somebody is necessarily a fight. So there hasn't really been a fight since like chapter 211 or 212 when the devil was killed. So that is now like 10 chapters without a single fight. So this is showing that Black Clover does not need to have fights to stay interesting. It never really has needed fights, but fights are just amazing in Black Clover. But one thing I also want to talk about, and this is something that I have to give credit to Jack the Ripper, and this is kind of like a joke, but it could be something weird, and that is one of the members of the Blue Rose Knights. She looks like so much like Damnatio, and like so much like Damnatio. Like it's the resemblance is uncanny. So if you just put them next to each other, they literally look extremely alike. And so maybe this is a Kira, or somebody that's related to the Kiras, related to Damnatio, who is on the Blue Rose Knights. That'd be pretty interesting. And then I also kind of did a joke tweet where it's like, oh, well, Damnatio has a mole. Because if you don't know, I have this kind of half joke, half theory that Damnatio is going to be a mole, which is like a spy. And this is because Charmy was a wolf in sheep's clothing the entire time. Damnatio has a giant mole on his chin, and I think that he could be a mole. So what if he is doing some of that mole duties right now and is blending in with the Blue Rose Knights? I kind of doubt that one, because this girl does look shorter than Damnatio, but I mean, this is in a world of magic. But anyways, basically, I'm really excited for the chapter, and I have seen some people talk about, because the first thing that popped into my head when I heard about Noelle and her mother being related to the devil, or having a sort of relation, not like familial relation, but have like connections, because depending on the translation, it could be related or it could be just connected. So we'll have to see when the official translation comes out. But a lot of people were like, oh, that means Noelle has like a devil thing or whatever, or a demon thing, and Asta does too. What if Asta and Noelle are siblings? What if Asta and Noelle are actually half brother or half sister? And this should be like a Luke and Leia situation, but in reverse. Instead of Luke and, well, I guess Luke and Leia kind of did like each other. In this scenario, Asta we don't really necessarily know if he does like Noelle in that way. Maybe a little bit. Maybe he just is blind to his own feelings. But Noelle definitely loves Asta, and that would be a funny Luke and Leia situation, which I hope is not the case, because I do think Asta and Noelle should end up with each other at the end of the series. But anyways, that's really, I think, it for this chapter. Like, it's just basically this is starting to build up, and we get Charlotte, admitting that she loves Yami to her squad, and we have Yami being oblivious, and he could just be oblivious because he feels that way about her as well. And anyways, it's kind of cool that we're getting more captains with development. We're getting more Charlotte, getting more Dorothy. Maybe Dorothy's going to be very important. And I just don't know, like, what's going to happen next. Like, I remember once Julius revealed all the names of the kingdoms, we thought very quickly it was going to be them going to another kingdom, especially once, Asta was talked to by Fugolian and Noelle. They're supposed to lead the kingdom. I thought we'd be there by now. I didn't think they'd go and talk to Charlotte and talk about her curse. I didn't think we'd be talking to Dorothy about Noelle being related to the devil or having connections to the devil. So this is really, like what I said, Tabata is really good at subverting expectations. And, I remember when also Asta was going to have to go to Magic Parliament. Nobody predicted that So, you know, Tabata's been good at subverting expectations, but also foreshadowing things so you could technically predict what's going to happen. But I'm just looking forward to the next chapter. I know everybody's talking about a future time skip coming up, but based on what's happening now, I don't see it happening. Like, there'd have to be this mini arc right here, then there'd be a time skip, but I don't really know. But let me know your thoughts down below on this chapter and on this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...